There are 300 of us on this ship, 300 names. But the report will only remember numbers, and numbers are made to be subtracted. The lies were soft when they told them. A quick transit, they whispered, a standard deployment. Just another war. They always lean on that word, just. But the void is never just anything. It is a throat that swallows light. And war. War is never small when you are the one standing inside the fire. 300 of us are packed into this steel tomb. 300 names, 300 childhoods, 300 lives that were once the center of someone's universe. But the manifest does not record names. It only knows numbers. And numbers were made to be subtracted. Before this uniform scratched my skin, I had the soil of home under my nails instead of weapon oil. I knew the song of the wind in the wheat. I knew the scent of rain before it even touched the dust. I knew my mother's voice, the way it caught the air when she called me in for the night. I didn't know what an orc looked like. I didn't know the thunder of a bolter could shatter a man's soul before it hit his chest. I didn't know that far above the clouds, in halls of cold marble, men I would never meet were already deciding exactly where I would die. They didn't train us to win. They trained us to hold. Hold the line, hold the trench, hold until the gears of the Imperium turn. But those gears, they never seem to turn toward us. We learned to strip a rifle in the dark, feeling the cold steel with frozen fingers. We learned to keep firing even when the man beside us became meat and static. They gave us flak plate that cracks, a rifle that jams, and a prayer. But the prayer, that depends entirely on who is listening in the warp. Dear Ma, they say we're liberating this world, but it doesn't look liberated. The sky burns all night, and the earth screams even when the shells stop falling. I met a man from Hive Tarsis yesterday. He's 19. He has a daughter he's only seen in a grainy pick slate, wrapped in plastic to keep the rot away. We don't talk about going home. Not because we are brave, but because speaking of it feels like a sin. I'm not scared of dying, Ma. I'm scared of becoming a line in a report that no one reads. Casualties within acceptable parameters. I never knew I was a parameter. The first time you see the enemy, the propaganda dies. It isn't heroic, it's just loud. Too loud to pray, too loud to remember the smell of home. My friend Corvin, he shared his bread with me yesterday. Today, something hit him so hard his chest plate folded like parchment. No last words, no grand sacrifice, just momentum, then stillness. I stepped over him, I had to. The line cannot break. It was only later I realized I never even learned his last name. Somewhere behind us, there is a table of officers. They see symbols, arrows, colored sectors. They do not see Corvin. They do not hear Jansen crying for a wife who will never hear him. They see a position holding longer than projected. They see losses within an acceptable range. Acceptable to who? The night is the hardest part. The silence is where the ghosts live. You look up and realize the stars above you are not the stars above your mother's house. You wonder if she'd even recognize you now. Mud in your teeth, blood in the seams of your gloves. Eyes that have seen too much to ever really close again. A boy next to me whispered, "Do you think the Emperor knows our names?" No one answered. We just watched the smoke rise. The order came at dawn. Advance across open ground, no cover. This wasn't a tactic, it was a subtraction. I checked my rifle. I touched the small charm my mother gave me. Not because I thought it would save me, but because I wanted to carry something from before into the dark. When the whistle blew, we ran. Not for glory. We ran because the man behind us would shoot us if we didn't, and the enemy ahead would kill us if we stopped. We ran because motion feels like hope, even when you're running into a grave. I kept running until the world turned white, until the noise became the only thing I was. A report will be filed. Objective secured. Enemy losses, heavy, friendly losses, within acceptable range. My mother will never see that report. She will receive a stamped notice, polite, efficient, cold. It will thank her for her contribution. It will not mention the wind in the wheat, or the scent of rain, or the boy who was terrified of being forgotten. But maybe, just maybe, somewhere, someone will remember that before I was a guardsman, before I was a number, I was a son.